Bemsi. I'm super excited to be here today. And we're going, as you all can see, we have a very special guest by the name of Mr. Henry Olabanji Dodo. He's all the way from Nigeria, and he's going to be sharing with us insights on how he has been able to impact the lives of young children in Nigeria. So thank you for being here, Henry, and you're very much welcome.
Thank you, Bemsi.
So let's get down to the first question for today is, why did you decide to create Pathfinders Africa?
Well, I think for that question, I would actually love to provide a bit of background, before getting into it. I started Pathfinders Africa when I was 16. And I started not actually with the purpose of wanting to create a non-profit organization or start an organization. But then I come from a community. I come from a community where at least once in a week, every morning, we wake up to see the dead body of a young person, on the streets due to street cultism, fights, and all of that. And many of these people who have been killed are young people, majorly 17, 18. And it got to a point when they started recruiting people from a very young age. They started recruiting guys from high school who are 12, 13 into their organization. And I was like, if these guys would keep recruiting young people for the wrong purpose, then there should be a good and positive reason in which we can start recruiting young people for the right purpose as well. And that was how I actually created Pathfinders Africa, just as an avenue to make sure young people are not recruited for the wrong reason. Yeah, that was actually how it all started.
Okay. Wow, that's deep. And how old were you when you created the organization?
Yeah, I was 16.
16? At 16-year-old, you'll be able to take the initiative to start something new. That's really big, and kudos, snaps to that.
Thank you.
It takes a lot of courage to be able to see something wrong in your community and actually take steps towards achieving. So the next question is, did you face any kind of pushback from your friends and family when you decided to create your organization?
Yeah, for sure. I was 16, just like I said, and almost everyone, as well as my parents, actually want me to focus on my education. And I was planning to go into medical school. So, the pressure to go into medical school was so high, and everyone just wanted me to focus, pass my medical school exam so as to get into school, and just focus on my life first. Because at 16, if you don't focus on your life, it's actually very, very hard to actually make impact in the life of others.
Yeah.
So it was more about focusing on my life first, so as to make sure my life is on the right track before focusing on the life of others. So my mom was always like, you have to focus on your life. My dad was always every minute, because I had to have meetings with my team and all of that, almost every weekend, and work at my organization center. So my dad is always like, you are always having meetings every week. You don't even have time for yourself and all of that. So it was more of challenges from home that my parents actually wanted to focus on my life. So.
Yeah. So how were you able to overcome that? How were you able to tell them that, how were you able to show them that you could actually manage taking care of yourself and also taking care of other kids in the streets?
Well, it was actually hard, because even till when I was 20, before leaving Nigeria, my dad was still complaining that I was focusing on others, and it's too much when I should be focusing on myself. The way I was actually able to manage many of the stuff is, personally, I love working at night, so I do most of my work by midnight. So during most of my midnight, I just do most of my personal stuff, read and all of that. While during the day, especially during weekends, I just do my stuff with making impact and all of that.
So what I'm hearing is, despite the fact that your parents kept complaining and stuff, you're just able to manage everything to get, how do I even put this? You were able to still do what you wanted to do, still take care of yourself, and keep the noise outside and focus. How do I even put this?
Yeah, I think, yeah. And just permit me to use this phrase. In Nigeria, we use the phrase strong head.
Oh, yeah.
People are actually so stubborn.
Yeah. Same in Cameroon, we also say strong head.
I actually have a bit of strong head. That when I actually have a particular goal, and once I know the goal is right, honestly, I don't care what people say most times. I just want to do what I want to do and get on what I need to get on.
So from what I'm getting, if you're a young person that wants to start an initiative or create change in your community, just do what Mr. Olabanji did. Like, believe in your passion, like follow your drive and just pull through it. Even if your friends and families might not agree, it might take a while for them to see reason with you, or you might face a lot of challenges, but let that not stop your dream, and let that not stop your drive to actually achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so what exactly, like, which kind of impacts have you seen since you started working with your kids, like with the kids you're actually helping in the community? And what activities do you implement with them?
Actually, when we started, it was more of, just like I said, trying to make sure the wrong guys doesn't recruit many of these good guys into their organization or courtism, let me put it that way. So at first, we started with making sure many of these young guys learn musical instruments. So that was actually the bait we actually used to lure them from the streets. It was more of, okay, musical instrument is fun. Many of these guys want to learn musical instruments. So
you want to become rappers.
How to play drums, how to play piano, how to play different musical instruments. So that was actually the bait we actually used to lure them in. And later on, we started bringing the academics in. We buy books and we make sure we read at least one books in a month. That is for every person. We come together, we discuss many of these things. And as at then, many of the guys who were in high school, some of them will be preparing for their final high school exams. So we'll bring many of the past questions for the high school exams, we solve them together, and just to make sure they are actually well ahead even in their academics as well, while learning how to play musical instruments. But later on, we started having a program called Rescue the Future. And coincidentally, I'm wearing the third shirt. And so Rescue the Future is actually a program where we bring about more than 100 young people from different schools to our events. We bring people who are doing amazing things from outside of our locality. We bring them from different states. So as to make sure, if many of these young guys see other young people in different places doing an amazing thing, that will actually at least inspire them in a small way, that despite what's actually happening in our environment, they can do great things as well. So we'll bring different people in and we'll celebrate them. That's actually one of the programs we do. And we do other programs as well at the center. We involve the kids in games, musical instrument as well, and watch movies, great movies.
That's nice.
An example is The Queen of Catwell, which is about a girl from Uganda, if I'm correct, who actually became a world champion through the power of shakes. A girl, we should check that movie out. So it's actually, so we just engagement of the kids in different things that will actually make them think outside of the box, that will actually give them the freedom that they can actually become whatever they actually want to become.
That's amazing. And so did you, like you mentioned that before you started this organization, you saw people recruiting children into cults and groups that were not good for these kids. So did you see any reduction in the number of kids that were brought into these organizations after I started your organization?
Well, that's actually a tough question. Because where I come from, at first, it was getting much worse. Because it was getting much worse, honestly, because it got to a point that almost every 2 days, we just see the dead body of a young person on the street. And it was more as if we were actually not making impact. It was getting much worse, But then at a point, we had to do school-to-school orientation for young people, just to educate them about the effect of being part of the street cultism and how much more there is more to life than being part of a street cultist, in which will probably be killed in within a year time or whatsoever. And I think with that, we're actually able to bring more young people into our organization with that, and somehow that has actually reduced the level of young people joining street cultism, because we went around all the whole school telling them about why doing this is so bad for them. and just explain to them that there is actually more to life. Because as at then, I was already into medical school, and I was like, yo, I'm 17, I'm into medical school, so
you can do anything.
Just
you
showing
want
them
to
the
do.
positive things, there is to life and all of that. So I think there've been reduction. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much, Henry, for sharing. So now, do you have any, what is your call to action for young people out there who are experiencing any form of injustice in their community, or who are seeing things that they are not satisfied with and want to create a change?
Just take action. I think that is honestly the biggest call to action I can actually ever mention here. Sometimes, especially as a young person, if you're actually from Africa, let me put it that way, from any country in Africa, we actually see finance and other stuff as barriers to making change, right?
Yeah.
But then I was 16. Honestly, I had nothing.
Yeah.
I had nothing. It was actually more of the passion of wanting to make a change. I had nothing. I was collecting money and allowance from my parents, but then I was even using my allowance and all the money my parents were giving me to run programs for children, to do posters and banners and all of those stuff. But then the thing is this, with time you see people coming in to support the vision. When people begin to see what you see, people just come in to support your vision. I think one of the proudest moments I've had was during the third program we had. My mom came to the event and I was like, okay, I think this woman can actually now see what
I'm doing.
What I was seeing at the beginning. And so it's one of just do it. Even if people don't believe in you, just do it. At the time, people will get to see what you are saying.
Wow, thank you very much for being with us today, Mr. Henry. And my call to action would be, I hope you take the lessons that Henry shared with us today, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel.
Subscribe to her channel.
Yes, thank you very much. And I'll put the link to Pathfinders Africa in the description, so you can click it and you go to their Facebook and learn more about what they do. And also, if you want to donate or help out, you could always reach out to Mr. Henry, and he'll be able your contributions will go a long way. So thank you very much, and have a great day, everyone. Stay safe.
You.
Yeah, peace.